But here's a book that's trying to tell us, look, you need God desperately. This world's a half hinge without heaven. You are only a hemisphere without God. Remember what Jesus said to the woman at the well? Whoever drinks this water shall thirst again. But whoever drinks the water I shall give him shall never thirst. That water shall be in him or her a well of water, springing up into everlasting life. Beautiful gradation in John's Gospel. John 3, you're born again. You're a little spiritual baby. Life has begun. John 4, life is springing up. John 7, life is pouring out in rivers. He that believeth on me, from within him shall flow rivers of living water. Beautiful. But whoever drinks of this water will thirst again. This world can't satisfy. One of the main points in this book is that every generation makes the same problems. Now, in your house and mine, we have washing machine and refrigerators and a car in the garage. When I was a boy, we didn't have any of those things. We had a drip safe with cloths and lots of hole in the tins, so you can nose them. And you poured water on the top, and the water evaporating down the side might prevent the butter becoming a sticky mess. Looked horrible. Looked dreadful. See? Refrigerator? We had no refrigerator. Washing machine? Of course not. You boil things up in the old copper. Hung it out. Washing machine? Cars? Well, I've had about 20 bicycles, but cars? No. We stand on the shoulders of preceding generations about material things, but not in experience. We keep making the same mistakes, generation after generation. People never learn. You know, in the most civilized century of history, the 20th century, there are 100 deaths every hour by war, spreading it over the century, the years when there's not supposed to be any wars. 100 deaths every hour, it averages. That's not counting the 60 or 70 million that Stalin put to death. That's not counting the millions that Mao and Pol Pot put to death. That's not counting the purges in the many African states that had terrible trouble, see. We're so stupid. There are 1,000 companies in the world that are just making implements for war. 1,000 companies making things to kill people. 90% of all scientists who've ever lived are alive today, and 1/4 of them are devoting all their energies to instruments to kill people. USA, the country of freedom, sells weapons to 45 countries. There are over 50 countries that have these buried time bombs. What do they call them? Yeah, over 50 countries. I think Afghanistan has something like, I think it runs into millions. I know this, it would take thousands of years to get rid of them at the rate they're trying to get rid of them now. Thousands of years. One of the reasons people love Diana, Princess Diana, is because she agitated about these terrible things. You know, we never learn to love one another. We're desperately trying to kill each other. And we never learn. And where does war get us? We're so stupid. You know, the worst war since World War II was the Bosnian War. And when it broke out in the capitals, people went mad with joy. They got drunk. They danced. They stayed awake all the night, rejoicing. And then came untold misery for thousands upon thousands upon thousands. Hey, listen, we never learn. Same thing happened in 1914. All the capitals of Europe rejoiced when war was declared. We are so stupid. And that's one of the lessons of this book. The world never learns. If we stay under the sun, if we don't take God and heaven into account, we'll repeat the errors of all preceding generations. Let's look at a few verses. Verse 4, generations come and generations go, but the earth remains forever. Sun rises and the sun sets and hurries back to where it rises. The wind blows to the south and turns to the north, round and round it goes, ever returning to its course. All streams flow into the sea, yet the sea is never full. To the place the streams come from, there they return again. All things are wearisome. You remember what Shakespeare said? Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to day, till the last syllable of recorded time. All our yesterdays have lighted fools to their dusty death. Out, brief candle. Life's a poor player that frets and struts its hour upon the stage and then is heard no more. Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to day. Now that's what Solomon's saying. If you don't know God, there'll be terrible monotony. That's why people change their jobs so often. That's why some people get married so often. They think that monogamy means monotony. See? That's why they keep marrying. It never works. Never works. Furthest fields of greenest, but when you get there, you've got to mow the lawn. It doesn't work. People are stupid. I'm naturally stupid, and so are you, forgive me. I know it's true about me. Please observe what happens in chapter 2. I thought in my heart, come now, I'll test you with pleasure to find out what's good. This also proved to be meaningless. Laughter, I said, is foolish. What does pleasure accomplish? I tried cheering myself with wine and embracing folly, my mind still guiding me with wisdom. I wanted to see what was worthwhile for men to do under heaven all the few days of their lives. I undertook great projects. I built houses for myself, planted vineyards. I made gardens and parks and planted all kinds of fruit trees in them. I made reservoirs to water groves of flourishing trees. I bought male and female slaves, had other slaves who were born in my house. I also owned more herds and flocks than anyone in Jerusalem. I amassed silver and gold, the treasure of kings and provinces. I acquired men and women singers and a harem as well, the delights of the heart of man. I became greater by far than anyone in Jerusalem. Notice verse 10, I denied myself nothing my eyes desired. I refused my heart no pleasure. But would you now look please at verse 17. I hated life, because the work that's done under the sun was grievous to me. All of it is meaningless, a chasing after the wind. And if you look at the last verse, this too is meaningless, a chasing after the wind. That may be an allusion to a verse in Proverbs where it says, he who troubles his own family inherits the whirlwind. Some of you may remember that there was decades ago an old Hollywood movie about inheriting the whirlwind based on that statement in Proverbs. But Solomon is saying, doesn't matter what you do, storms will come, tornadoes will come, doesn't matter what you do. Therefore I hated life. I hated life. Here are the characteristics of earthly pleasures without God. They're usually intense but brief. Usually intense but brief. Repetition reduces their intensity, their kick, their relish. And these intense delights rob more sober pursuits of their pleasure. A man who's a furious gambler is really a good gardener. See?